The red light is on. Oh my goodness. So much pressure.
Hello, welcome everyone to NXT Takeover post show. I think Andrew just jumped the gun on everything. He's like, red lights on, we're live. God, Andrew, this is why we can't have you on these shows. You come on from post wrestling to just sabotage the Fightful shows now that you've left us. Oh my gosh.
Oh, why we gotta start off like that? Why can't we just start off wholesome?
We're live. We're live.
Yeah,
pal.
we're live, pal. I'm Jeremy Lambert, joined, as you can tell, Andrew Thompson, post wrestling. Andrew, how you doing, buddy?
Ooh, to connect.
You're here, buddy. You're here. Joseph, how are you?
I'm good, Jeremy. Great to be here for another edition of The Distraction here. A little bit of a late recording for us. I'm told we're talking about some sort of wrestling show. Unsure about that.
An alleged
Andrew is
wrestling
here
show.
too.
Yeah, Andrew doesn't realize he's actually still here. He's on. Maybe he can't hear us. I didn't mute him, amazingly. Typically, I would just mute somebody, but not this time.
It would be amazing if Andrew.
Can you guys hear me all right?
There you go.
Yeah, we can hear you. Can you hear us?
Oops, let me see.
Oh, Andrew has just come on and we already have enough
territory.
issues with our show. And then Andrew comes on and kills the territory. My God.
It would be amazing if
we
he's
go.
so There you go. You hear Andrew?
There we go. There
Okay.
we go. There we go. We back. We back. See, this is.
Nope.
I want Andrew's sole contribution to be jumping the gun on the live stream. That's what. That's it. I just want him to be opening the broadcast, and then that's it. No more. We're back. Here he is.
Andrew,
Here we go.
what is happening?
My connection, man. It's my connection.
What is happening? You and Phil, we got to do something with both of you. Just
Well, it was the same thing with Phil.
yeah, Phil had a bunch of connection issues when he was on the show.
The only good connection is Luther
Why is
in
my
this
screen
wrestling.
all fucking like this?
Luther's got AEW money, so he's easily connected to all of it.
Don't we all, Jeremy? Wrestling media here.
That's true. You got AEW money, Andrew?
Oh man, hold on. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yes.
Yes.
We hear you. Can you hear
my
us?
goodness.
I
Hold on.
sense Andrew
I'm
can't
gonna
hear
back
us.
out.
Oh my God, Andrew. Anakin sends a super chat and says, classic distraction material here. Yes, it is.
Not on us. Hey, look.
No, amazingly, not our fault. Usually, we are the ones causing the tech issues. Not this time. It's
Yes.
all Andrew's fault.
How many minutes do you give it, Jeremy, until my camera just starts to turn off and on? How many minutes? 2 minutes? 2 minutes?
If
Really?
I have to do this show solo, I don't know what'll happen. I'm just gonna
15-minute
end
show.
it. Yeah, I'm just gonna end it. Andrew's messaging me. He says his connection is gonna restart and everything. So once Andrew gets ready, we'll get him back on here. We're here to talk NXT Takeover WarGames post show allegedly. Joseph, you stayed up very late for this. NXT's banned from our program, and here we are. It's just us two now doing this takeover post show. What has happened to our careers, Joseph?
I don't know. This feels like a rib of some kind.
Yeah.
Thompson, he talks me into doing a review. He backs out of said review minutes into the thing. I'm sitting here now looking at my notes for a show I didn't want to watch. What's happened here, Jeremy?
I'm glad you're here because if it's just me and Andrew, I don't know what I'd be doing right now. I'd be texting you anyway and be like, hey, come on the show.
That would have had very bad results. But yes, I'm here. I want to do a disclaimer to open this show, Jeremy. And by open, I mean 4 minutes into the show after a litany of technical difficulties. I am not here to ruin anyone's experience. I had fun tonight. For all of our shenanigans about banning the NXT, I thought this was a very good show. So you can hold your unsubscribe button steady. You won't need it. I'm not going to ruin anyone's fun. This was a good show. I'm happy to talk about it with Jeremy and apparently Andrew Thompson. We'll see.
Reminder, guys, you can leave us a super chat. Get your question, comment, statement read on air. Best way to support us and everything we do. Subscribe to our channel at youtube.com/Fightful. Go to Fightful Select. Sean's always dropping news over there. I'm not doing the whole big spiel that he does. Just go there and support it. I'm not a big pro like Sean is on the Fightful Select deal. He'll have news on a bunch of different stuff. Everyone who listens to this, you know where the best wrestling news is. It's on Fightful Select. So go there and subscribe. That's it. All right, let's get into NXT Takeover WarGames. Joseph, Josh pre-show?
No, I didn't. I messaged you when it started. You said nothing on the pre-show, so I assumed there was nothing on the pre-show. I did see Errol Hawani setting up a match with Sam Roberts, which is filth in its own way. Andrew Thompson.
Phil with the free Andrew. We're trying to free him, Phil. This is not us holding him back.
Phil, thank you, man. See, they kept me in the background. They sabotaged me. See, you see what happened? You see what happened? But
wrestling politics.
But my apologies on the connection, folks. I don't know what's going on. My hamster was moving slow, I guess, on the connection.
We have not gone into anything, Andrew. You've missed absolutely nothing. We're going to get into the women's WarGames match. We got a super chat from Anakin JMT who says, I'd be okay if Candice or Tony pinned Io, but Raquel pinning the champ doesn't make sense. She won't take the title off of Io, so why pin her? How do you know she's not taking the title off of her?
It's going to be the main event like Wednesday or the next Wednesday. It's just a TV match. That's all.
So the NXT women's WarGames match, as we just said, so the faces had the advantage in this match, and that's very controversial. That's a Russo. That's a Russo controversy right there. I thought they actually handled this well with trying to keep Io outside. The heels actually had like a plan of, hey, we don't have the advantage here, so instead, once they get their big advantage with Io, we'll just keep her on the outside. That's how we kind of twist this and everything. The problem was they looked kind of stupid when they tried to pin, and then not everybody was in the ring, and so they couldn't win the match in that way. In the end, Raquel did pin Io Shirai. Highlights from this match, I think the big highlight was certainly Io Shirai going all great Sasuke and hitting the trash can dive off the top of the cage. Andrew, what did you think of this match?
I actually think this was the better WarGames match of the night. I kind of enjoyed this a lot more. Is that a hot take? As a hot take?
Maybe.
Is it? Nah, I think this is the better WarGames match in the night. And like, can we just talk about Shotzi Blackheart, man? Because I feel like they really priming her for NXT Women's Title run. Like she really stands out in the women's division. Like, of course, she got a different look and she wrestles different. She has a different kind of style. And like I'm like really enjoying how they've been presenting Shotzi Blackheart like ever since coming out of that Halloween Havoc. And I feel like she really stood out in this match. And then of course she had the special entrance as well.
Joseph, thoughts on this match?
I wanted to love this match. I liked it. I did like it. It was a lot of fun, and it was very much sort of I don't want it, when you say stunt show, it feels like you're dismissing a match, right? It feels like an insult. But this was very much that to me. And in fairness to the women involved, there wasn't really a core story or emotional pull here, right? It was very much, she did this to her, this, that, then next thing it's WarGames. So in that sense, it made a lot of sense doing it this way. It took me a moment or two to adjust to the way they were going to shoot this program, because at times I felt like I was sort of staring at a dark alleyway. It was a little bit scary, a little bit frightening, but I got through that. That was fine. And I think once Rhea got in, and it was like I kind of accepted what the match was going to be, and she always brings that like insane intensity. I thought it was very fun. And even before that, like Ember and Dakota, I thought was great here. So I have very few complaints. I would just say in terms of my taste, it was probably a little bit beyond what I would like with everyone doing the under the ring, run out, get a weapon to take in and play with. It's not really my thing, but I thought it was very fun.
They should just have the weapons already hanging in the cage if they're going to do that, because it is
lockdown, brother.
Yeah, it is. It's like, all right, all the weapons are just right here on this one side of the ring. Let's go grab it, throw it in there and everything. Aaron Entertainment says Raquel was the star of the match. Yeah, I think that was the point they were trying to get across, is really highlighting Raquel. They gave her the pin on Io. I mean, they're setting up that title program. Whether you think that Raquel is going to beat Io or not, I don't know. Like, why would you have Candice win? Candice has already lost to Io and lost championship matches 100 times. She doesn't need another title match. Candice or Raquel and Io is a fresh matchup. You can steal a TV main event with that. And I have no issues with this direction. How about you, Andrew?
No, I ain't got no issue with the direction at all. I feel like Raquel has been kind of, I think they've been kind of leading up to sort of Raquel kind of, stepping up to the to the the 7-up to the plate per se, for a women's title match against Io Shirai. But I did want to ask y'all like about Rhea Ripley. Do y'all think it's time for Rhea to kind of move on to either Raw or SmackDown? Because I feel like she kind of in this weird placeholder position in NXT, like when she's kind of up and down. Like sometimes she's hot and she's cold. Like as far as like just how her overall presentation feels. So I would just wonder what y'all think about Rhea right now.
I mean, as a talent, it's been time. Right, I think the interesting possibility, as you guys talk about Raquel, is like, is there a world in which Io is the one that's going up, Raquel is going to take the title, and then they try and build back to Ripley and Raquel because they like that dynamic, and I get it, it's unique, right? What they've got there, so I don't know, that's something to think about. I mean, the thing is with the promo she cut about she's here to stay and stuff, you have to be very careful with her just leaving now. To me, it made a lot of sense for her to just leave. I didn't, to me that was the end of her run, but. I guess every good female wrestler has to be in NXT. It's the laws of WWE, I guess, right? I don't know.
It's not the end of her run, Joseph. This is all part of the journey. It's all part of the process. Rebuilding her confidence through everything. It's all going to make sense 5 years from now. This last year for Rhea Ripley, 5 years from now, it's all going to make sense. We're going to look back.
As long as you book her in wrestling matches against good wrestlers, like I'll just suffer the rest of this bullshit. Like she's so good that I'll just accept it. But yeah, you're right.
We're going to look back and be like, great for her growth. Man, really needed to go through those growing pains to get to this point right now. Our buddy JJ sends a super chat, says, here for the stars. That's Andrew. Io clearly wants a jackass spot, and Triple H loves his lethal lockdown. Babyface advantages and losing clean is a TNA move. I mean, is it really clean in a WarGames match? Like, there's so much nonsense going on. Like, I don't really think it's technically clean.
Because it's pinfall now. Rather than the submit or surrender deal, it opens up the finish completely, right? Like, you just need a cool move and it can end. Surrender was nigh on impossible for baby faces to lose. By the way, I don't know if you mentioned this, Jeremy. I apologize. I was looking at my notes. But Ember Moon's eclipse on two ladders was the equivalent of booking a hospital appointment. Absolutely. Love Ember Moon. That was great. I love that. I'm happy for her to be in like a big spot. That was very cool.
Cyclops is better than Wolverine, says match of the night. Raquel is now a main event player. Andrew says match of the night. And
hang on. Cyclops is better than Wolverine is the hot take there, I feel.
Oh, God damn it.
Oh,
I just got to say, guys,
go.
Listen, I'm only here for a brief moment, and I got to say, Joe, I'm sorry. I know you work here, but Andrew's got to go over tonight. It'll make sense in the end. I know he doesn't work here. He's got to go over, and he's got to go over strong, and you don't get your comeuppance whatsoever. So I just need you to do business and trust me. I need you to make me believe, Joe.
I need my Lillian interview. Get me my Lillian Garcia interview right now. I need it.
Joe Hulbert or Chasing Glory, man. Next up.
She's gonna make you cry. You're gonna make me cry so quickly. I'll save that for the end. Sorry, Carlos. Where are we at right now? What just happened? Sean comes in here, ruins everything like usual.
Cameo appearance from Sean Ross Sapp, man.
God, doesn't he have work to do? Like, oh my God.
For a moment there, though, the Ultimate Dynasty was back together. That 1 month team was back for a moment there.
Hung a lot of banners in that 1 month, though.
For a moment there, we had Curry, Clay, Durant, and Matt Barnes, myself.
Hold on. Who's Matt Barnes?
Oh, Joseph's called.
I was on the team for a month there, pal. That was me. I got the ring. I went home.
Dakota's. I can't say that word. I can't do grammar. Judging by.
Are you gonna read it?
Oh, yeah. Judging by how efficient Tony removed those turnbuckles, I'd expect her coming to the ring promoting her DVD while fending under 2 minutes. And maybe that's her next gimmick. I don't know. They like to do random things on NXT. They just turned her randomly, turn her into Toru Yano randomly. Sure, why not, right?
Nah, I'm like really curious as to where this like Tony Storm heel turn is going. Like I feel like it's probably gonna lead to a singles match with Ember Moon, but like other than that, like where could she go? Do you guys think that? Because like you got Raquel coming up, so like where does Tony kind of fit in with that mix in the NXT Women's Division as far as potential title reign or the title shot or something along those lines?
She'll turn babyface again in a week, and we'll just forget about this whole thing.
I mean, if Io's staying champion and the Raquel match is literally just a TV match, I would assume Tony is the destination there. I would guess. I don't know though. I mean, the whole heel turn thing has been fascinating because she turned heel. And then she effectively just became a backdrop immediately after that, which felt very odd to me. I didn't get that. But we'll see what they do after WarGames, right? It's a tough thing. You're trying to build 8 people in one match. It's difficult.
And it says, Jeremy, if you do the show by yourself, I'll hop on. Nope, you're banned, and whatever the rest of that says. But that's not happening. Sorry, Anakin.
That's how you doing. That's how you doing the super chats.
Yeah, it's my show. Run it how I want.
All over him. No need.
Evan Wright, massive stars on my screen right now. Big fan. Andrew takes up all of the spotlight. The biggest star we've ever had. The biggest star we could ever have.
My connection was taking up the spotlight.
Carlos is not always able to catch the distraction when it's live. Stoked for this review. Also, Andrew's episode this year was one of the best podcasts I've ever heard. That we did Andrew very dirty on that podcast. It made him just laugh at all my terrible jokes. So,
we talking about the first one. The first one we did.
The first one was good. The second one was, if that was a good podcast, then thank you, because I was a star of that one. I'm catching up on super chats here. All right. Hi, Andrew from Rob Wilkins. Hi, Andrew. Jeremy fired me as his agent. Do you need what? Do you need an agent, Andrew? Andrew's doing well without an agent.
Shout out to that good man, Rob. Man, Rob, congratulations on the gig too, my brother, on the AEW Dark articles. That's the man right there. Shout out to Rob, man.
Rob's doing Dark and Dynamite coverage, and he's always making the Photoshops that make it look silly. Anakin says, Joe, Cyclops is better. Wolverine had 2 bad solo movies. Do you have a hot take?
Cyclops.
All right.
There we go.
Hannah, for some reason, I have to read this. I'm only here for Andrew and the very young Joe. All right, you're.
Wait. Hey, shout out the good sister Hannah. The challenge coming up this Wednesday, Hannah.
That is true. I have to write an article on that, actually.
On Leo Rush. Shout out to Leo Rush. Yeah. Not a shout out.
We're not giving shout outs to Hannah though. Tommaso Ciampa against Timothy Thatcher was our next matchup. These two men beat the shit out of each other. That's about the nicest way I can put it. Thatcher's ear completely exploded, and Ciampa got the victory with the Willow's Bell. Andrew, what do you think of this match and where they're going with Ciampa and Thatcher now?
I think this match was way better than what I was expecting, to be honest, because I was going into this match, I had like really low expectations, and not that I thought it was going to be a bad match. I just thought it was going to be like really slow pace, but I wasn't expecting them to like really basically beat the shit out of each other as much as they did. And I like, you want to know something, man? Like Timothy Thatcher, he's not like the most flashy guy, but like he's very good at like making sure the cameras catch him in like those certain moments. Like when he had the blood coming out his ear, he made sure like the camera, like he like made sure to turn around so the camera could see the whole slow dramatic pause thing. Like Timothy Thatcher, he real solid, man. So I'm interested to see where they go from here.
Joe, thoughts on this match?
This was a relative masterpiece, my friends. Mm-hmm. These two men, with their style and approach, had to follow an 8-person WarGames match that involved like 101 different things. And they started at a pace where even if you was exhausted, you had time to like settle back into the show, right? You had to, they eased you into it. And the next thing you know, they were just, as you said, Jeremy, very profoundly put it, just beating the shit out of each other. That was the key. I mean, Ciampa established early that he was kind of outmatched on the mat, right, which was what they were kind of going for. And Thatcher can pull that off, obviously, easily. But watching them kind of ramp up the physicality as they went, and it just steadily building. And I love the finish. So this was tremendous in terms of what they achieved here with what they had. And it was a focus match. It had a clear kind of plot straight through it. And it was super nasty and vicious too. I loved it.
They didn't have much build for this match. I mean, it was added like the week of. And I mean, they've been doing the Thatch can on NXT. Ciampa's just kind of been a background guy for the most part. And then Ciampa, he used our show to get this match, use a distraction on Thatcher, got this match. And look, it didn't have, the story wasn't really there, but in this case, I don't think you needed a story. You just needed 2 guys who wanted to go out there, beat the hell out of each other, and see who the better man was. That's exactly what they did. I thought it was everything that it needs to be. My only complaint, this is not on them, and this was far worse in the next match. This fucking cage banging that they were doing with the plexiglass, with the just ruined this whole match for me. Not the whole match, but and the fake crowd noise and stuff. It took me out of this match. I'm not going to lie. It was worse on the second match, but it took me out of things with this fake ambience they tried to create it here. Did it annoy you guys, or was it just me?
Like with the specifically with the takeovers, it's like I don't think we'll ever be at those, like at the last like the crowd with these super crowd atmospheres, man, when it's just like you can kind of feel it in a way. It's like real weird, but like I don't ever think that we're gonna be back at that point until we actually get fans like back in like full arenas for these takeover events. It's like ever since the pandemic started, it's like these takeovers have kind of been like they've been really lacking as far as like energy goes, and sometimes you could pick it up and you can get it to a certain level, but it's not at the point that it once was. I don't know if you guys agree with that.
They try to like recreate the live crowd, which good on them, but in this instance, when they're banging the cage against the plexiglass and it just makes that god awful like just clanging noise, it was just annoying to me, and it was so much of it too.
See, that didn't affect me. It was the fake crowd, especially in this match.
Yeah,
Thatcher's like just doing Timothy Thatcher things, and they're like making unnecessary. If there's one match where you can lay off that because you don't need to do the WWE style deal, it's Thatcher. He's the opposite of that, right? There's literally no need to pump sound him while Thatcher does a heat segment. It isn't necessary. So it's frustrating, but eventually it's just like it is how they do their TV. It's annoying, but like, what are you gonna do?
Only thing I'm glad about, they didn't pipe in the "This is awesome" chant. Like I cannot stand when they do that, bro. Like don't force that. Don't force that.
Carlos Easy says, do you guys think Ciampa and Thatcher end up teaming up? I thought that after the match, they gave each other some very loving looks on the ring apron there, and I thought it might lead to a team between them. What do you guys think?
Joe?
I mean, I don't know where else. This is going to sound like I'm not excited for it, but I just don't know what else you do with Ciampa. So, like, sure.
Yeah.
It's something, like, and the thing with Thatcher is I love Timothy Thatcher. He's tremendous. But, like, on this brand and what they're trying to achieve, he's probably not a top guy, which I think has already been kind of established, right, with the way they book him. And that's fine. He is what he is. But in a team, it gives him a direction and identity. So it makes sense to me.
Yeah, I think it's really nothing left for Ciampa to do, like as far as like main storylines in NXT. So I feel like something cool they could do is have him be like an assistant teacher in Thatcher's little class segments that he does, and like you can have him kind of do like the Clash of Styles things where it's like I want to do it this way, I'm gonna do it my way, and like you had him kind of butt heads at that and kind of come to some type of middle ground. I think that'd be like some interesting TV for like a couple weeks.
Ciampa wants more thigh slaps than Thatcher can. Thatcher's not having. Andrew on a teacher run called me a social studies teacher.
I didn't know such thing. Don't believe this, man.
Joseph.
You can confirm.
Thank you. Said I look like a social studies teacher with these glasses on. My God. Just worst crime. Strap match, Dexter Lumis, Cameron Grimes. This was one that the crowd just like really, really took me out of. I did love Cameron Grimes at the beginning. He's like, is this strap or no strap? Like, he's got to have his strap. God bless the man. Joseph, you're a big fan of the Cameron Grimes from what I know. What did you think of this match with, unfortunately, Cameron Grimes losing once again?
So you're doing this thing where you make a bit of me not liking Cameron Grimes, even though you're the one that doesn't like Cameron Grimes.
Who said I don't like Cameron Grimes?
You did. You said you literally said on a live stream, why do people like Cameron Grimes?
Do you know how many live streams I do and how many things I say that I don't remember?
You're going to remind me later about a bit I didn't even know I did.
Yes.
So that's fine. This whole feud is a little weird to me tonally. Like, I can never tell if it's comedy or like an actual just a professional wrestling feud. And this match very much captured that because you have Grimes doing all of his silliness and having fun. And it's like, he's the traditional heel. And it's like, and next thing they're taking like bumps on the floor. They're slinging each other. So this is an actual strap match now. So that's always a disconnect somewhat for me. But as far as what they did with this stipulation, I mean, they did about as much as you can do with it. I thought they had a tremendous effort. Whether it fit with the story they were particularly trying to tell, I don't know. It's not my story to sort of rate on that purpose. But as a match, I thought it was very strong, even if far too long for what it was trying to achieve.
Yeah.
I agree, Jeremy.
I was gonna say, yeah, definitely too long. What do you think of the match overall, Andrew?
Nah, I definitely think it went a little bit too long. I did like the final sequence though of him like tripping up Grimes and having his face fall on the shot. I think that was a little decent little spot right there. I think it's time for both of them to kind of move on from this. Like Dexter Lumis, he's like one of those characters where like you need somebody that has like a very different personality on screen for him to bounce off of. I feel like he can't just get in there and just work with like a wrestler. Like he needs to work with somebody that has like some very, very different tendencies on screen as a character. Like it's gonna be interesting to see what they do with him going forward. And I am a fan of Cameron Grimes, so I'm gonna say that. I don't know if I'm banned from the distraction now.
No, so am I. Joseph's the one who doesn't like him.
Complete fallacy. No need. Cameron Grimes is a great example of a guy who's figured out this is my role to play in this particular spot, in this particular brand, this particular promotion. This is what I got to do. And he does it to the absolute best. You can't argue with that, right? He's a good example in that sense.
Hey, Joe, let me ask you this. Did you, when you first saw the Cameron Grimes character, I think that was like October 2019 when he first, or sometime when he started bringing out the hat and all that stuff, did you think that this was going to be something that would still be around a full year later, or you think there was going to be something that's going to fall out?
Honestly, I've read and saw pictures of Cameron Grimes at least 100 times before I dared to watch one of his segments. October last year, if you said to me, watch NXT for Cameron Grimes, I'd been like, yeah, go fuck yourself. No, with all due respect to Cameron Grimes, I can't give you an answer on that. But what I will say is, as I watch him, I do appreciate what he does. I think he's very good at what he does.
Joseph knew all about the hat and that gimmick before he ever like watched what it was all about.
100% true.
Joe's favorite super chatter says Grimes is great. I just don't care about Lumis. See, he's with us. I don't have an issue with Dexter Lumis. I don't know what they're like actually doing with Dexter Lumis, because this match, kind of like Joe said, was a reverse from with the story they've kind of told with everything. I think they've got to really narrow in what they're going to focus on with Dexter Lumis.
Guys, I have fantasy booking to discuss.
There we go. Let's get it.
Am I wrong in saying that the Fiend Bray Wyatt's best match this year was with Daniel Bryan? And am I incorrect in saying that was a strap match?
That's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if that was his best match this year. I think you're forgetting that Goldberg match, but otherwise, yes.
Good point.
That was this
How
year?
many?
Yeah, it was.
How many tickets does it sell if you put on the poster the Dexter Lumis on one side, the Fiend Bray Wyatt on the other, strap match? Cameron Grimes in Dexter Lumis's corner, because they're going to become a tag team now. I've just decided this. Alexa Bliss in the other corner. We got Grimes and Bliss on the outside. We got Lumis and Fiend on the inside. What are we talking here? 100,000 seats? Where we going?
I mean, the Thunderdome's definitely selling out, 100%.
Oh, they'll be ready for a good time.
Yeah, the Thunderdome's definitely sold out on that.
Every screen in the Thunderdome will be packed. Every single last one.
I'm imagining like how much fun they could have with that angle, and the match would start, and I'd be like, maybe not.
The angle would probably be like, it'd probably be great because they just let Bray run wild with everything, and Lumis, you can do a bunch of different things with him. But yeah, once the match starts, I don't know what you're getting out of those two guys.
Let me ask you, what do y'all think the Fiend and Randy Orton's match is going to be like at TLC? I'm not excited for the in-ring work in the slightest for this.
I mean, it's interesting in the element, like if you look at it sort of as a comedic piece and you sort of go, well, what is Orton going to actually bother to do with the Fiend? If you look at it at that point of view, it's going to be fascinating. I can't wait for it. But I mean, as an actual wrestling match, yeah, I mean, it's what it is, right? The thing is like, I've changed a lot doing this podcast because I realize you have to accept other people's tastes. I'm being serious.
There we go. Look at the growth. Look at him.
And like, in fairness, Raw has a lot of just like good wrestling that means nothing. So like, let Bray have fun. You know, like Bray, he has a laugh and he does his little fun ass and all that. It's good. People like it. I've said it to Jeremy a million times. I'm still doing a podcast here. Right? I feel like we're just talking off air now. My apologies, guys. We'll get back to NXT. I've said it a million times. When I logged on the Twitter after the Extreme Rules pay-per-view and the Swamp Fight won the best match of the night poll on WWE Twitter, I was like, look, man, I've got to accept what this is, right? People have fun with this stuff. It's not for me, but there you go.
You turned me into a fan of that because I was like, no, this is awful. And you're like, Jeremy, just accept it. It was fine. It was great. It was the best match of the night, Jeremy. And
there you go.
You're completely wrong. And then I watched it and with a different mindset. I was like, you're right. It was a great match.
No, that's what I have no recollection of this. Was the Swamp match.
That was this year, Andrew. That was like 6 months ago.
Okay, yeah.
Not even.
With Braun Strowman. Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, it just came to my
Yes.
mind. But I swear, anything that was like anything past 2 weeks ago is like a blur. I'm telling you.
That's
Like,
typically how I am. I couldn't remember Bianca and Natalia wrestled last week, even though they told us a bunch of times on commentary.
Yeah,
See, you don't remember either. Andrew. I saw that look. Don't try to act like you tried to sneak that look past me. I saw you being like, did they? Oh, they did wrestle. NXT North American Championship match. Leon Ruff, Damian Priest, Johnny Gargano. Triple threat match. Priest looked kind of to have things well in hands. We got the Ghostface Killers out there doing a run-in. There was like 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. The main one, it turned out to be, was Austin Theory. And in the end, Johnny Gargano pinned Leon Ruff with one final beat to recapture the title. 3-time NXT North American champion. My best friend, Jonathan Gargano, fellow Cleveland Browns fan, Jonathan Gargano. Andrew, what do you think of this match?
That little thing was my attempt to call a timeout on the play because we got to talk about this man's Leon Ruff, his 2020. Been crazy, man. This man started off in Evolve. He was doing enhancement work for WWE. Man, went and got signed. Then he won the North American title, got a takeover match, and now he engaged to a significant other. What a year for Leon Ruff, man. He had a crazy good year, but I think
this man, this man lost to Aleister Black, looked better than Aleister Black getting squashed, and now is winning titles while Aleister Black can't even get on television. Like, I feel bad for Aleister Black now. But yes, Leon Ruff has had an excellent year.
Yeah, that definitely excellent year. But I think the match it did kind of have a little bit too many of those ghost face people. I think I saw Dominic Dijakovic tweet out. He was like, "Oh, I was wondering what all the rest of the Retribution members went at." I was like, that was kind of funny. But overall, like, I mean, Johnny Gargano is North American champion again. I don't really have an issue with it, but it feel like they kind of just trying to find anything to do with Gargano just to keep him like even just keep him like a sense of relevancy in NXT and like keep him away from what Ciampa has kind of been through over the past couple of months. Like Ciampa just been like a non-factor up until this thing with Thatcher, and now I feel like they trying to avoid that happening with Gargano, so they put the North American title back on him. But I don't really have an issue with it.
Joseph,
I really like the match. I thought it was great. I mean, the agent in on this I thought was tremendous for 99% of it. And then I think they lost their way. I didn't mind all the interference because I thought it made Priest look awesome. I thought when he was doing the big dives and he was killing everyone, I thought it still fit what they were trying to do. To me, though, and this is where it gets difficult, you should never rate a match on thinking the wrong person won. So, hear me out here. But the finish of Ruff diving in with the frog splash and Priest, like, kind of, finally taking a breather and missing. To me, that was the finish. Everything after that felt like an extension that wasn't needed, and it was made even worse by the fact that I just didn't like the way they went with this. Now, I totally get the idea that the Leon Ruff character can be interesting as now trying to prove himself as an actual champion. But I was into the story of him trying to prove himself while being champion. That was fun to me. Now we're back to square one, and it's kind of like, I don't know. I wasn't a big fan of when I ended up after this, but I thought the match was great. I have no complaints other than just the final portion being unnecessary.
Gargano being champion again, kind of like Andrew said, it feels like they're just doing it to give Gargano something to do when really they probably just need to like move him up to the main roster. So from the media call, and I think this is out there, Candice LeRae, they fear she has a broken arm from the WarGames match. So if that's the case, I mean, just send Gargano up. Like, I understand if you don't want to send them up because you want to keep them together and you don't want to send Candice up. I think personally they both should be on the main roster.
Yeah.
But Gargano, he's kind of done everything in NXT. I don't know if he needs another North American title reign. I don't even know how long this one's going to last. His thing is he can't defend the title. He's the Sasha Banks of NXT. But is that going to give me heat, Joseph?
Oh yeah, that's going. Oh yeah, they on your neck for that. You
crew.
Up with that. But I really agree with that point right there. Like, but the only thing is, like, I feel like with Gargano, as soon as, like, okay, so let's say he's a heel right now. He goes up to the main roster. I feel like they just going to completely dismiss what he's been doing on NXT for the past couple months or the past year or so, and like just turn him babyface, because I don't think they want to buy him as like the sleazy heel, even though he's really decent in that role. So I was wondering, like, what you guys think about that? And as far as Candice LeRae goes, like, hopefully she is okay and it's not, as bad as it it seemed. But I'm interested to see what they do with Candice going forward. And as far as Gargano goes, I don't know about a main roster call up for him, man. I feel like that's gonna be probably one of the bad things that happened to him as far as WWE.
It's interesting because I think we all agree that it's time for that character to leave NXT.
Yeah.
But the truth is, even as it is right now, he's just much more valuable to NXT than he would ever be to Raw or SmackDown, because I think Andrew nailed it. I just have no faith or belief that they'll be able to figure out that. And I'm not even, to be honest, I'm not even saying that it would be like a creative failure. They have so many guys that they struggle to deal with in that regard as it is. Gargano will just be another one on top of the list. Some things are just easy, better fit elsewhere. And the problem is you have to keep him fresh in NXT, which is the difficult part, right? And I mean, they've struggled with that, but luckily he's versatile enough to take stuff that appears like it could be the end of him in terms of relevance and stuff. And he's still entertaining. Is he as compelling as he was as an underdog babyface? Not even close. Is he as interesting? No. But he's still very good. And he was the glue of this match. So, I think this is he's to me the perfect example of an NXT lifer. This is just where he's supposed to be, in my view. But I think in a lot of ways, these matches, these multi-man matches, right? It's like you've seen them so many times. It's hard to be impressed, but we do sometimes, I think, take for granted how great some of these matches are. The one thing that was really interesting about this one was when Leon got thrown out of the match, right, by Priest. I think every person in the world watching the show was like, "Oh, Leon's going to come back in later and get a roll-up win." Every person. And in fairness to them, not only did they not do that, the best part of the match was when Ruff came back in. I love the stuff with Priest and Leon, establishing that their dynamic there and the clash without making Priest seem like a dick. If you're a big Damian Priest fan, you can't have it okay, sure, I get where he's coming from, right? I think he's totally figured out who he is at this point. He should probably be the one that gets called up. He's probably valuable to them on the main roster. So I love the match. I'm just cautious about where it goes.
I hope this is not the end of Leo Ruff as his 1 month little NXT North American title run, and they kind of continue to do something with him. I mean, keep him in this feud, honestly, but because now you can potentially do Ruff and Priest against Gargano and Theory. JJ Lee says that Gargano's adopted another kid, LOL. And JMT says it was me, Austin, popped me. And Corkscrew, going back to our last match, Corkscrew Cutter should be Leon Ruff's finisher. Says, where can I buy the official strap, though? Probably like WWE Adam and Eve. I assume they sell official WWE straps there. Any thoughts on Austin Theory being around? All right, cool. Let's move on to the men's WarGames match. I don't have any thoughts. Undisputed Era against the Kings of NXT. Undisputed Era did pick up the victory. Kind of highlights of this match. I think the big highlight was certainly Pat McAfee's Red Sea Swanton dive onto the mat, which looked fantastic. He did a great job with that. Pat McAfee's moonsault was also very good. We kind of talked about it off air. Match was a little bit too long. I do think Undisputed Era winning was the right call. I have no idea where they're going with Undisputed Era after this. Andrew, what do you think of this match?
Yeah, I'm gonna just piggyback on what you said, as far as Undisputed Era and where they going after this. I really feel like the Ridge Holland injury really threw off where they was going with this overall story. Or maybe it wasn't, but and then they just subbed in Pete Dunne. But as far as Undisputed Era goes, man, it's just it's a difficult spot right now because it feel like they really same thing with Gargano, they've done everything that needs to be done in NXT. But just going back to the match, I think it was a solid one. I still don't think it was better than the women's WarGames match. It did go a little bit too long, but Pat McAfee, he showed up and showed out, man. This is his second match, second professional wrestling match. So yeah, I think Pat's doing real well for himself, man. And of course he's very talented on the microphone as well. So I'm excited to see what he does going forward. But Undisputed Era is going to be. And once again, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with them because it's they've done everything, man. Is it really anything left for them to do in NXT?
Joseph?
Well, that's a bigger topic, right? Which I think is probably worth tackling. But I loved the match. I think it went long, as we kind of spoke about beforehand, as you mentioned. It's one of those deals where it gets excessive because I think they're concerned that the modern fan won't accept just a fitting sort of natural conclusion. Because to me, the natural conclusion was they killed the other guys, and Pat was left, and they were going to kick the shit out of him. They should just won the match there. To me, that was the end of the story. Now, in fairness, I'm only speaking for myself. If that match had ended there, I'd have said that was perfect. But I believe a lot of people watching this show tonight much prefer what they got afterwards, which was a lot of insanity and cool kickouts, and that's fine. We all like different stuff, so I can't argue with that. I thought this was the better WarGames match. I was torn on the opening where Kyle and Pete were doing the technical wrestling stuff because I didn't have it fit, but it was so great to watch that you can accept it, right? I thought all of the stuff initially was perfect. Oni's great. The way they were getting some heat on O'Reilly, I loved all that stuff. Roddy came in and does just Roddy shit. He's just incredible. The cricket bat stuff, probably could have done with that. Do you know what I mean? I probably could have done with that cricket bats coming in, everyone laughing. Leave some of that stuff out of WarGames, there's no need for it. I'll never love the thing of a guy running under the apron, but in this match, I thought there was a much more palpable intensity, aggression, and there was even some emotion to the match because there was a story in the center of it. To me, this is just me. So I preferred the match because it felt more like WarGames in the way they approached it. Even if in the end it was okay, guys, he's kicking out of Adam Cole's finish. It's insanity. Can we play? We got to go now, But I thought it was great. I can't really, overall dismiss it much. You
didn't like the cricket bats, Joseph? What do you have against cricket?
I love cricket. That's why I didn't like it. It's it was a comedy spot in a walk. And the thing that frustrated me about was, and I know people are watching this thinking, Jesus, Joe, line up. And I agree with you. I should line up. But the reason it frustrated me was because I was really loving what they were doing with it being a traditional WarGames match. Because it was to that point. They were working over O'Reilly. Fish came in, and he's obviously been in hundreds of these matches back in the 70s. And he, he's running wild. So I would love them where they were going, and then it sort of took me away. But Roddy brought it straight back. I thought he was great. It just, they have to do that extra chapter because otherwise people think it's boring or whatever. I don't know.
Roddy did 2.5 thigh slaps. I believe Joseph thought it was going to be 27 thigh slaps earlier this week. So you were wrong. Yeah, that's what somebody said. You said that Roddy was going to do 27 thigh slaps. You thought he was going to do a little corner run gimmick and do all his thigh slaps. He didn't do any of that.
That was on air. Okay.
Yes, that was on air.
I need to stress to everyone watching this that Roddy's so good at backbreakers that he's his gimmick. He's gimmicky. People do that. What's the character? Where's the clown mask? Forget it. Backbreakers. That's all he needs. He just flings guys, and eventually someone has to backbreak. He's the best, dude. I love Roddy so much. He's the best.
The suplex backbreaker, where he just picks the dude, tosses him, and that's so good. He's so good.
When I saw when he did that on WarGames, it was crazy because when he flipped the dude up, it's Roddy had already dropped down before he did it. He flipped dude so high that he went on here and already dropped down before he actually hit the backbreaker. I was like, this dude is crazy, man.
Well, I knew he was great. He's been great forever. Legitimately been great for 15 years. But when Fish was out and he teamed with O'Reilly, and it was this team is now just infinitely better with Roddy Strong. It's man, he really is. Appreciate Roddy Strong on his ramp because he's going to be one of those guys that in 20 years, the wrestling gift makers that never watch this wrestling in real time, they're going to be like, man, Roddy Strong was the best wrestler ever. And I'll be sitting there. Yes, check out the Takeover WarGames review. I was ahead of it.
The finish actually came with the chasing the dragon, and then Kyle O'Reilly leapt off the cage and just smashed, I believe it was Oni's face, or maybe it was Danny's face with the chair. And Danny looked like he had a pretty swollen eye off of that. But Kyle O'Reilly gets the victory. Do you think that means anything? You just think he's the one who picked up the victory?
I don't really think it means much. I mean, I think there is something there with Finn Balor a little bit. You can still kind of weave in some with that story with Finn. I mean, with Kyle breaking his jaw and blowing out his eardrum and all that. I think you could still take it to that, weave something in as far as you still beat me, but I broke your shit basically. So I think they can still do something with that. Overall, I don't really think it's means. I think they're gonna stay within the confines of Undisputed Era going forward.
I want to do this Undisputed Era talk, but I have more Roderick Strong talk first. I liked when someone was powerbombed onto someone else and the table didn't break, and Roddy was like, "Well, only one solution. We're just going to kill both of these men." Just fear in Danny Burch's eyes. He looked down and saw Roddy Strong go down. Okay, Undisputed Era. If there was a heel champ in place right now, if Cross was the champ, which in fairness, that may be the intention, right? We don't know what's happened there. So if he was, Undisputed Era doing a full babyface run would be a thing. With Finn, it's a lot harder to see though, right? It's a lot harder to kind of figure out where they're going here. I don't know. It goes back to the Gargano thing about, is he more valuable to NXT? I want to believe there's a higher upside for Undisputed Era, right? I want to, but at the same time, it's like, is there? Or is there more of a chance that they're going to hurt them, diminish their value on the main roster, and they'd be better off just staying as the ultimate NXT, like legendary NXT? I don't know. I'm just asking. It's difficult for me because I enjoy watching these guys wrestle NXT, but it does feel like it's time for them to test something elsewhere, right?
They go to the main roster. They breaking up, bro. I'm telling you, they breaking up. I refuse to believe that they're gonna stay together if they go to Raw or SmackDown. I feel like it's just not gonna work out how we think it's gonna work out. I think they're tested for a couple months, but then after a while, it's gonna be like, well, somebody got to split, and I feel like out of everybody in that group, it's gonna end up being. I think the obvious one that people think is gonna be is Adam Cole. That'll probably break away and become have some success on the main roster, opposed to his stablemates. What you think, Jeremy?
I thought someone was going to turn in this match, honestly.
Yeah.
Like beforehand, I was like, this is just a Triple H thing. They're just going to turn somebody. I'm very glad it didn't happen, because if it did happen like in the middle of the match, or especially at the end, like after all of that, it's like, wait, you're going to have all these guys beat each other up, and then it's like, oh, now I'm going to turn on you. It would have been really stupid. So I'm glad that didn't happen. They might just be like NXT lifer guys. I do think there is a spot on them on the main roster, but like Joseph said with Gargano, it's like, what are you going to do with them to make them actually mean something on the main roster? There's so much where we just fear that anybody who moves from NXT to the main roster is just like dead on arrival, because that's pretty much what they've taught us.
Well, I do. Go ahead, Andrew.
No, you good. I was going to chime in, and I was going to add. I was going to strike up some chords with Joseph and bring up Sanity. And when Sanity first debuted on the main roster, man, I thought they were going to at least it would be halfway decent on the main roster. Then they just like
they were dead. Yeah.
That's all I had to say.
The thing is I don't want it to be. I mean, I know you guys obviously can say what you want to say, but for me, I don't want this to come across as me doing the whole deal of like, main roster creative sucks, NXT is awesome, they're going to ruin my heroes. Like, because if you watch my show with Jeremy, I frankly could not give a shit. But I'm trying to be as objective as I can. And O'Reilly and Strong, as a team, are very valuable to any wrestling brand in the world, because you don't really need to protect them. They can just have great matches and be a great team, right? Or fish, which way. The reason Cole and Gargano is complex is because they are top guys in NXT. And you're training the audience to take them a certain way. And it's like, one question isn't so much if creative's good or bad. I'm just saying, do they belong as top guys in the main roster? Because look, NXT has an amazing talent pool, but there's different kinds of fish swimming on those Raw and SmackDown brands, for better and for worse. Do I think it's a great thing that Raw is often building around Braun and Bray and stuff? Not particularly, but it makes it a hell of a lot harder for me to see Johnny Gargano in there. It's just fit, right? So it's like, I ask you guys, Adam Cole, being as objective as you can be, what is his upside on a main roster brand? Because I'm kind of torn at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much of a upside for Cole in the rainbow, and that's just because and to me, and I'm pretty sure to you guys, it really doesn't matter, but I think it matters to those the powers that be, like the size thing. And when you're looking at some of the guys on Raw, you're looking at, and I don't know, but Bray Wyatt is deceptively tall. Randy Orton is tall. Keith Lee, Braun, and a
Bobby
bunch
Lashley.
of other, Bobby Lashley, and they big dudes, man. And it's easy to see that on screen. So even though we view Adam Cole as this main event top level talent, which he is, a fantastic wrestler, when he goes on screen and you put him next across the ring from Bobby Lashley, and Bobby Lashley just towering over this dude and got muscles on top of muscles, and you looking at Adam Cole like, who is this dude? You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be a weird thing, but to us it's just like, oh, that's Adam Cole, great wrestler. Like, why couldn't he be one of the people up there? But I'm assuming to those, the powers that be, it's gonna be like, he's a little guy, and I don't really think he's gonna match up, and it's not gonna be presentable or believable per se.
I mean, Pat McAfee is towering over Adam Cole.
Yeah,
so you put Adam Cole with the guys you mentioned. It's not the best visual. I think Cole has upside as like an intercontinental United States kind of guy. Is that the best spot? I don't know. Would he be happy with that? I don't know. But I think that's probably where they would slot him at the most. Because you look at a guy like Keith Lee. Keith Lee would seem to be like, oh, here's a guy Vince would love. He's a big dude. He's athletic. He can talk well. Like, here's a guy that you could probably get behind. He beat Randy Orton. And now he's just a guy. And that's kind of it.
It's hard, man. It's, as much as NXT has a great talent pool, they're still in a position where they can, inexplicably like, okay, we're going to make Karrion Kross champ. And that would never happen. Whether you think it was good or bad, which is a whole other debate, that would never happen on the main roster brands because there's too much of like a status quo established. There's top guys that have been top guys there for a decade. Like it's just a different setup, and sometimes that's good, sometimes that's bad. It's just you have to kind of beyond just being like main roster creative sucks, which I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm just saying it's difficult to actually time it correctly that you get the push you need is what I'm saying, right? It's hard to have faith in that, even if the system was better than it is. It's just difficult.
So, like, you go read the super chat, Jeremy.
Aaron Entertainment says Cole should replace Pat on Pat's show for a week. I think that'd actually be great. I think Adam Cole would be very entertaining in that spot. And Anakin says Cole will probably be leaving NXT so he can keep streaming and get more time with Britt. I mean, he can have time with her right now because it's not like they're traveling or anything. The streaming stuff is that's what I was, whole different. I mean, he's part of Up, Down, Down, so he can probably keep streaming with them. But yeah, that's a whole different thing.
But Joe, I say Joe, you mentioned Karrion Kross. Like, let's see what my initial worry was. I thought Leon Ruff was going to retain the title, and then I thought they were going to try to harken back to when Kross squashed them all those months back, and they was just going to immediately like just drown Leon Ruff and have Kross take the title off him. But like, do you think that it's a good idea to slot Kross like right back in that main event spot, or do you think you need to build him up back again, beat him up again?
I don't, because I don't see him that way. And that, that's the thing about wrestling is we discuss it so much and we write about it and we read about it and all this good stuff, but it's like it's inherently subjective, right? It just is. That's the way. Like, I don't see just because of the look that he has a huge upside. It's never connected for me as a package. It just never has. So to me, it's like, no, absolutely not. I'd be putting him in a team with Corbin and saying, farewell. For them, I'd imagine he'll beat Finn in the next couple of months. Like it's all, and the results will tell you if that's good or bad. I don't know. I've never got it personally. I don't know about you. Maybe it's different.
Karrion Kross is coming back pretty soon. Triple H said on the media call that he's back. We saw the little crow gimmick and the TikTok thing. So I would assume he's back on television in the next couple of weeks. It seems like Finn is cleared enough to where he can potentially wrestle. He's supposed to be back pretty soon. So the cat, is he the cat? Is he the mouse? Those promos suck, by the way. Those Finn Balor promos, just god awful. But he's coming back. So they're getting those two guys back. I imagine we're going with like a Kross and Finn feud right off the bat here to see who the rightful champion is.
Yeah. So you think they pulled the trigger on that match at the New Year's Evil show, or you think they?
Maybe. Yeah, they did announce that New Year's Evil special. That could be a spot for it because they want to pop those ratings for the Wednesdays.
I think that'll be Dunn and Finn. I think that'll be Pete Dunne and Finn. But we'll see.
Good pick. I say, what's that like? Good 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now. That's a decent amount of time to build something up. But
another WCW event. It's just they never used it. It's an actual WCW branding. Did you see this, guys?
New Year's Evil?
This was Bischoff's plan for the Kiss event that he was going to do on New Year's Eve. This is real. I'd forgotten this, but this was on the Twitter. This is true.
Why aren't they doing Starrcade? Like I guess because WWE does Starrcade.
We're heavy metal, bro. Do an event that never even happened. Let's do it.
Anakin is calling me a fake Cole fan because he's left, right. I mean, the whole brand is now BRE Start. So get out of here, Anakin. I'm gonna ban you. Actually, you send a lot of super chats. I'm not gonna ban you. Can't do that. Get yelled at for banning them. Anything else from NXT Takeover WarGames?
Anything else, Joseph?
I had a great time with it. I think I wish sometimes there'd be a little quality control. We could have reined this in. I could be in bed by now. We could have, but I had a great time with it.
I said I'd keep it under an hour. We got
We
about
did.
6 minutes until then. Match of the night, Joseph. You're going men's war games.
I want to go with a triple threat, but that finish annoyed me. I'll go men's war game, sure.
Andrew,
Women's War Games.
women's war games. I'm gonna go Thatcher and Ciampa. Look at that
There you
hipster take right there.
There you go,
Not
there you
even
go.
going with a war games match.
There you go.
It was shorter. Just two dudes beating the shit out of each other. It wasn't a stunt show like all these war games matches. That's what I'm going with here.
Be the tiebreaker between me and Joe. I'm gonna make you make a choice. Choose between the men's and women's war games. And I just full transparency. This is gonna show where your friendship at, and that's just, I'm gonna just take that for what it is. And say, hey Joe, we good. Just know that. I'm just
What? This is just a disagreement. Jeremy's got the decision here.
This is bullshit. I'm gonna go the women's war games, and here's why. The men's war games just too long. Honestly, too long.
That was really short. The women's war games. Good call.
Yeah, it was really short. No, the women's war games. Yeah, it was more of a stunt show. I did like the story more in the men's war games because there like actually was a story to it. But the men's war games, if they'd put that first and the women's last, I probably would flip it. But it was really just I was ready for the show to be over, and then they just kept going on and on with this match. And I value Andrew's friendship because Joseph has to keep doing shows with me, and Andrew, I need more on my side.
It's very fair. I'm locked in here, really.
Yeah.
There's no impact if you say that.
Right. Carlos says, can this crew review TLC, please? Tweet Sean Ross Sapp and let him know. Ask him.
The tables, ladders, and chairs?
Yeah.
Good Lord. That actually looks good. I'll do that. That's fine. Yes, Carlos, we're doing it. I've just confirmed it. Live. Yeah, scoop.
Sean's gonna be like, no, it's not happening at all. I only get to do these shows because AEW and NXT do the media calls afterwards, and Sean wants to be on those. So that's why he's like, hey, Jeremy, do these post shows. I'm like, I don't really want to, but okay, I'll just get my friends to do them with me and then pop myself and do a bunch of jokes.
We'll just do a private post show. We'll just get together after. Like,
Never. It'll be released on a Fightful Select, like our retro review.
There you go. In a couple of years.
Yeah, a couple of years. That's actually going up next weekend, technically. Andrew, where can the people find you at?
They can find me at AD Thompson __. Look at that, man. Look, see that's
support your friends. Support people who support you.
Now, see, I was planning to wear my point guard shirt, but unfortunately, it didn't come in the mail yet. So next time we do the distraction, I'm definitely gonna put that on. But they can find me on Twitter at AD Thompson __. And check out my interviews at Andrew Thompson Interviews and my written work over at Post Wrestling.
I saw who you got on Tuesday. Can we say it?
Break the news. Break the news.
No, I'm gonna let you do it.
Oh, I thought you was about to go with the honors, man. But I got the ROH stable from the early 2000s, man. Julius Smokes. It was Julius is he quite the individual, man. Like, he funny as hell, but I really enjoyed that interview, and I think a lot of people will enjoy it as well.
I'm very excited for this interview. I saw that in my subscription feed earlier. I was like, oh, that's a good get. That's nice. Andrew's doing big things. Doing big things. Support this man. Joseph.
It's a bit flat now, isn't it? I mean, Andrew's got the big, you got his shirt on. He's got all this stuff going on. My cell is just like, I do shows with Jeremy. That's it. Jeremy, you can read it. Joe Hulbert on Twitter, like you can, that's about it.
You can follow Joseph on Twitter at Joe Hulbert. No five. I'm gonna put this. This is not a super chat, but I'm gonna put it up there anyway. Distraction Crew SRS. I completely agree. We're gonna take it. We're gonna take this website over. Tank Commander team, and we're gonna run it to the ground when.
I want a screenshot from. I need to frame it.
JJ will probably screenshot it. Honestly,
let me just put over Joe's Kenny Omega feature. That was a real smooth read, sir. And just so you know, very, very, very smooth read right there. I really enjoyed that.
Well, I appreciate it. I wish his match was better after I did it, but there you go.
I prefer the Kenny Omega feature that he retweeted that Fightful ran.
I'm the first feature writer on the site now.
Yeah, we've acquired some new feature writers, and Joseph is just his role's getting diminished here.
While we got 1 minute left before we hit the hour mark, I gotta ask y'all: Are y'all tuning in to Impact to see Kenny Omega on Tuesday?
Of course, big Josh Matthews fans. We like it. I'm ready, baby. Just go. Fallon versus Kenny Omega. Let's go.
I'll watch the screener that we get sent beforehand. I'll watch that.
Name drop alert. Oh, that was strong.
You can follow me on Twitter at Jeremy Lambert 88. The Distraction Tuesday, we're reviewing The Rundown with The Rock. Thursday, I don't know what we're doing. Probably talking about basketball. Basketball season's coming up, so we're gonna be talking about that. We're almost at our end of year show. Just follow us on Twitter. All right, follow everybody on Twitter. Just every single person in the history of Twitter. Follow us. Go to Fightful.com. Check it out. We appreciate everybody joining us. Appreciate all the super chats. We will talk to y'all later on.